So it is time to get our event started. So welcome everyone to our first online Code Chrysalis and Rakuten RapidAPI API night. We're so excited to have the opportunity to do this with Rakuten RapidAPI started. So welcome everyone, and yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about the project and Rakuten RapidAPI program manager. We're so excited to have the opportunity to do this time with RapidAPI started. So welcome everyone, and yeah, I'm going to give you just a ton of information about the project and RapidAPI started. Yes, you're okay. Sorry about that, my dear. Okay, cool. So yeah, without further ado, I am going to turn myself off and turn it over to Yasu, who is going to tell us all about Rakuten RapidAPI. Go ahead, Yasu.
Thank you, Heather. This is Yasu from Rakuten RapidAPI. So today, let me share this screen. Do you guys see okay? So this is Rakuten RapidAPI, the world's largest API marketplace. Our goal is to help innovators and the entrepreneurs like you all to build an application faster and with better quality. So I want to introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Yasu. I'm the marketing lead of Rakuten RapidAPI. I have a similar experience as most of the students here. So I studied totally different field, which was architecture back in my school. 4 years ago, I wanted to be a software developer. So that time I studied myself of how to programming, but it was so difficult. There's two reasons it didn't work out for me. One is like I didn't met people like you, and then also I didn't join Code Chrysalis, so it was extra difficult. But at the same time, I met a company called Rakuten RapidAPI. So that time I decided myself to, instead of building a product, I want to help people by distributing this product in front of people like you, developers and the innovators. So that way you can build your product and then create new innovations. So about API marketplace, so API and Microsoft. So what is the API? API stands for Application Programming Interface, which is a set of tools for building software applications. You can also say it's a method of sharing data and the functionality with other parties. The benefits of using API can fall into three categories. One is fast development. Instead of writing code from scratch, you can combine few APIs and then develop a software much faster. The second is better service. So let's say if you want to build a payment function, that time you need to like search how tax works and then how to money transfer works. And then after running all the systems, and then you need to write code. Instead of doing that, you can simply go to find APIs like payment, such as Stripe and the ADM to incorporate your product with a few code lines. The third is cost effectiveness. If you want to build your function from scratch, then you need to put a large chunk of your time or high R&D costs. Instead, using API allows you to consume each function and then pay that money by call. So that means you can reduce the cost of using such functionality. With these three advantages, you can appreciate the new possibilities of using APIs. So let's imagine you are building a flight booking app. For building an app, first thing you need to have is like aspiration and the desire to build an app. And then the next one is see who have that kind of like, who is gonna be your users. And then third thing is based on that user interview or users like, interview or feedback, then you are list up all the features you want to build in. So for flight booking app, you want to have a flight search function. On top of that, you might want to have hotel search, and then weather forecast. So that way, a user can know like which destination they are going, and then if there is any hotel nearby, and then what kind of weather it should be when they arrive there. And then once a user decide to make a purchase for that flight ticket, then the next thing he or she want to do is make a payment. So it would be nice to have that function. And then also if there's currency converter, then he or she can see that in local currency they are familiar with. The last one is app notification and then email notification. So once he or she purchases a ticket, they want to get a notification in the email. So that way they can make sure they don't miss a flight or they go to the right airport at the right time. Here we can see two positive mega trends around the API industry. So one is API unicorn. On the left cycle, you can see companies like Twilio, Stripe, SendGrid, and the Adyen. None of them did exist 10 years ago, but now they are valued more than $1 billion. Like Twilio, they only simply send SMS messaging using APIs, and then they grow so fast, and then their market cap is already $8 billion. On the right circle, you can see a rise of a developer as a user segment. So companies like GitHub or GitLab, their each user valued at $300 for each. So that means there's rise of developer economy. Because of these two mega trends, we are so bullish on our business. But at the same time, however, developer also faces lots of challenges using APIs. First, it's discovery and then comparison. In the market, there has more than 30,000 APIs. Among the 30,000 APIs, the question is how you can find the right APIs that suit your product. And the next question is, once you find several APIs you want to use in your product, how you can compare each API with different policies and then configuration. The next challenge you will face is usage. So not only all the APIs have a well-written document. So comparing APIs with each different document can be very time consuming. And then also each API has a different policies. So one has open API policies, the other doesn't have the same policies. Comparing these and then trying to figure out how to use them can take lots of time and then lots of effort for you to build a product. The last one is administration. So for administration, statistically, they have 5 to 10 apps you are going to use for small mobile apps. That means you need to manage all the billings and then all the functionalities by logging and then log out from each different website. So this is also gonna be really headache once your app gets more scale and then more ability to distribute to others. In order to solve these challenges, we create our platform called Rakuten RapidAPI, API public marketplace, which is a single interface for API discovery consumption from more than 10,000 APIs with 1 million developers on our platform. So you can see this platform as a app store for APIs. We connect sellers and then buyers, and then people come here and then can find APIs easy and then consume them. And then we are also excited to announce the new product called Rakuten RapidAPI for Teams, a place for you to publish, share, and then collaborate on internal APIs and then microservices. So by using Rakuten RapidAPI for Teams, you can share private APIs, share API subscriptions, and analyze API performances across a team. So by using this product, your team can get more efficiency and then effectiveness to develop the software. Through these two products, we believe we offer values for developers. First is discoverability. So we offer best-in-class API sections. Some APIs on our platform are not available elsewhere. So that means you don't need to go other website. You can only find APIs in our website and then consume it. So the second is consumption. So you can come to our website and then test, configure APIs in one window. And then also you can connect to multiple APIs with single integration point. The third is payment. So we offer a transparent upfront cost structure for all the users. For most of the APIs in the market, can see either free, freemium, and then paid. And then all the cost structure are really clear. So you don't need to worry how much hidden cost is in the API. Also, we consolidate all the payment to one single bill and then issue to you on our website. So you can see how much you use month over month. The last is monitoring. So you can monitor API's performance and then usage, and then also cost in single pane of glass. So that helps users to get easy access to APIs and then use it and then consume it and then also monitor it. So this is how our UI looks like. I'm going to touch upon how to use this product later on this tutorial or this talk. But we offer 4 main features. One is finding API. The second is testing API. Third is integrate, then manage APIs. This is our top performing APIs or popular APIs. So we offer Trio SMS for SMS APIs. We also offer SendGrid API for sending emails. And then we also offer several APIs from Microsoft. One is text translation, and then another is computer vision, which I'm going to touch upon in the demo session later. And then we are also excited to get on board line messaging API, one of the most popular APIs in Japan. If you go to our website, you can see many more APIs you might want to use. So come to visit our website. So now we are going to do 2 API demos. One is the Microsoft Computer Vision, the other is Nextmo SMS messaging. For Microsoft Computer Vision, we use this API to let this describe what an image looks like. And for Nextmo SMS message API, we use this API to send a SMS to one of the, maybe to my cell phone. So let's get into it. So this is our website. You can come here, english.api.rakuten.net. And then once you come and to here and then log in your account, you can see a huge search bar here. So basically you can type any API you want to use, such as Microsoft. After 1 second or 2 seconds, the result API should show up. Sometimes it takes longer than usual, but here you go. We have Microsoft Computer Vision and then Microsoft Text Translation. Once you scroll down the website, here we have API collections. API collection is a set of APIs that fall into similar categories. So let's say top image processing and then facial recognition APIs. Once you click this collection, and then it will redirects you to a place that has a bunch of facial recognition APIs. Since it takes time, so save time, I will go back to the original website. While we are waiting for the loading, let me introduce Microsoft Computer Vision. So this is a single window to configure Microsoft Computer Vision. So basically, this on the top right, they have a popularity score and then latency and success rate. So for popularity, if it's higher than 8, then this API is pretty popular. And then for the latency, it means how quick you can get a response by calling APIs. So if the number is below the 5,000 milliseconds, then you wouldn't see any lag. Last one is success rate. For the past 30 days, how many times it's successful out of like 100%. And then in here, you can see 4 pages underneath. One is endpoint. So basically, this is a function that Microsoft Computer Vision offers. So we see like almost like 10 functions that API offers. The second is about page. So in here, you can see a brief explanation of what this API does and then how you can use this API. And then if you go a little bit below, and then you can see a related APIs that are published by the same API company, as well as other related APIs that people always are searching after this Microsoft Computer Vision. The third page is discussion. So in here, users and the API providers can talk about like how to use this API, and then also if there's any like interesting topics, you can create your discussion here. The last page is pricing. For this API, this is a freemium, so which means they offer free plan, paid plan as well. So if you scroll down, and then they have a free plan here, and then also they have a paid plan. So for free plan, you can use up to 5,000 calls per month without additional cost. So let me use this API. So once you go back to endpoint, and then the thing we want to do is let this API to describe what an image is. So if you go to describe from file, and then click the link, and then that shows all the necessary information you need to put. So for the header parameters, we already have, so you don't need to like input or change it. For required parameters, this essentially asks you what image do you want to let this API to describe. And then last one is optional parameters. So how many like response do you want to get from this API calls? For required parameters, I'm going to click here and then choose one of my files. So actually I want to use this one as a reference. So this image is a dog sitting in front of a laptop and then watching to you and then says, I have no idea what I'm doing. So let's use this. And then once you decide the image, I'm going to put this one as 3. So that way I can get 3 answers from this API call. So once I put enough parameters, and then all I have to do is click test endpoint. So after 1 or 2 seconds later, this gives you a result. It says 200 success API call. So which means this API is successful, give you back the result. In here, you can see body, so which means you can see the result of the call. So if you scroll down, and then here is the 3 answers you got. So let me enlarge this so that way you can see. So first is a dog sitting on the table. This is pretty close, but it's not true because dog is sitting on a chair. This gives you 68% of confidence. Let's see the next one. Next one is a screenshot of a dog with 68% of confidence. This is accurate. The last one is a dog sitting in front of a computer with 57% of confidence. So it's also correct. So once you like this API, all you have to do is go to code snippet and then click this. And then first you want to do install SDK to your code base. So let's say for Python, so Node.js, so copy this part and then put it in your code base. And then once you make a request, and then later you can decide which API, which code you are using. And then let's say I'm using Python, and then there's 3 options to make a call this API. So I'm going to choose unless uniless API call. So in that case, you are going to copy this code and then paste it to your code base. So that way you can make a call, right? So this is pretty simple and then easy way to implement this functionality. Before I jump to the next one, API, I want to show quickly about how our website looks like. So if you scroll down, these are all the API lists. And then this is fall into one category. So this is a free API list, and then this is whether API list. So if you want to see each API, you can click here and then find more details, like what I did for Microsoft Computer Vision. So the next example I want to show is Nextmo SMS messaging. So the API allows you to, let's see here. So basically you can go here and then search Nextmo SMS messaging. For this one, you can see the structure of the page looks almost nearly identical with Microsoft. So all you have to do is come to endpoint and then choose send an SNS endpoint. And then scroll down. And then these are a few parameters you need to add. One is from, so who is sending this SMS? So in this case, I put my name and then to. So in here, you need to include your country number, which in Japan is 81, and then put my phone number. And then if you want to include any message, you can include that, like hi. And then you can leave optional like unfilled. So this is only information I need. And then once I put all the information, all I have to do is click test endpoint. And then after a few seconds later, it shows this SMS should deliver to my my mobile phone. So it gives me like 200. So it should get my mobile phone. So this is a quick demo about how to use Rakuten Rapid API with the example Microsoft Computer Vision and Nextmo SMS messaging API. So this is a few customer stories we got from our customers. So one of the famous customer called Junction. So Junction is a hackathon organization who organize hackathons all over the world. So they have like Junction Tokyo, Junction Seoul, and then Junction Helsinki. So in hackathon, you can only get like 48 hours or less to start product ideation and then come to the concept and then build a product and to the presentation. In this case, our product actually give the users a huge advantage to build product faster with better quality. So the CEO called Iro, he acknowledged our product called Rakuten Rapid API gives developers a massive advantage in turning idea into reality. If you want to go to, if you come to our website, and then we also have these user stories. So I encourage you to come to our website and then take a look. So lastly, we have account for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So please do follow us, and then we will give you the latest API news and the software development news. Thank you so much. That's all my presentation.
Okay, Yasu, thank you so much for introducing Rakuten Rapid API. And I really always appreciate the time and effort you put into coming and doing this project with our students and mentoring them and giving them all sorts of chances to not only get to work on a project, but also practice giving lots of feedback and conversations with you. So I think this is really wonderful. And thanks again so much for taking the time to come and talk to us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's really a great pleasure to give an opportunity to present our product in front of you, especially people like you who have a dream to be a software developer and then build a product from scratch. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so speaking of dreams and the future and actually current software developers, I'm really excited to tell everyone here who's watching tonight a little bit about this project. So this is the end of week 7 of our 12-week program. So that means that the students have been with us almost 2 months, but not quite. And so at the beginning of this week, they took a marathon full day assessment. And then right after that, the very next day, we threw them into teams with people in many cases they haven't worked with before and said, right, now it's time for us to build something. You can build anything, just use Rakuten RapidAPI APIs. And considering the fact that some of these people just started coding this year, the results are incredible. So they've had 3.5 days, just 3.5 days to build the products that you're going to see tonight. So really, really proud, really, really excited to share them with you, and always super impressed. So without keeping you waiting any longer, I'm going to introduce Team Sky Rah. So Team Sky Rah built an app that helps you stay informed while on the go. So they do that by allowing you to get up-to-date information about COVID news, weather, and different kinds of info delivered actually straight to your Line account. So very convenient. So without further ado, Team Sky Rah, you're up.
All right, give me a second to share my screen.
Okay, you guys all ready? Yeah. All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody and everything on the internet. Internet of Things, robot overlords. We gotta be nice to them. I want to thank you for watching our presentation. I also want to thank Heather, Code Chrysalis, and Rakuten RapidAPI for allowing us to this. So before we present our lovingly made app, I'd like to introduce all of you viewers to our team, Team Sky Rah. We are a team of full stack developers. Part S, our king potato here, our tech lead, Shunchar.
Hi, hello.
K, we have Koki.
Hey guys.
Y, we have Eureka.
Hi.
R is myself. Hello. And of course, last but not least, our A is Izan.
Hello.
All right, and now I'd like to talk to you about this amazing app that we have been working on. It's got dragons and magic, big epic adventures and horses, and sorry, sorry, that's the wrong app. That's our next app. But I am still excited to talk to you about this app that we have made for you, and it's Sky Rah. What exactly is Sky Rah? Imagine this. You wake up, you check your line messages, like you always do. You see Melvin, you see Nell, Vic, Yasku, Narasan, the usual messages, and then you see a message from Sky Rah. You have the latest news, news headlines, financial market information, weather, and in these tough times, some COVID news information locally, all on your phone in an instant. Sky Rah is your digital assistant. And you'll even get jokes too. So this app looks amazing on the phone, line messaging integration, and it's also deployed on the web. So some of the features still need to be fully employed, but what you see here, you'll love. So to show you what we have, here is Eureka. Eureka.
Thank you, Roger. So how does it all work? It's very simple. All you have to do is log into Line, scan a QR code to add Sky Rah as your friend, and then get the messages. So let's jump into our website. So we're going to start off by logging in. Sorry, it's taking a while. All right. And once you've logged in, like I said, you can use this QR code to add Sky Rah to your line, and you can get different kinds of messages sent to you. You can get news, you can get a COVID report, today's weather, your fortune for the day, and a joke. And let's see what the messages actually look like. If you could focus on the line messaging window on the right, I'm going to show you what the news looks like. And you'll get 3 headlines sent to you, courtesy of BBC News. And then this is what the COVID report looks like. And today's weather for Tokyo. And my fortune for the day. And most importantly, a dad joke to brighten up your day. And I'll read it out to you guys. Why does Norway have barcodes on their battleships? So when they get back to port, they can Scandinavian. All right, so that's the end of our demo. And now I'm going to pass it on to Shintaro to talk about the technologies used.
All right, thank you, Eureka. Yes, so now I will talk about the technologies that we used. First, we use React for our front end, and we use Express.js for backend to create a server. And we use Node.js for backend, and we use Axios to get data from API endpoints, and we use Heroku to deploy it. And for APIs, we used Line Logging API, Line Messaging API from Line developers, so that a user can log in with their Line account, that they can receive the messages. And we used the News API for the users to get a news report daily. And then from Rakuten RapidAPI, we used COVID-19 API for the daily COVID-19 report, and a Dark Sky API. This is for the weather information, so that user can get a forecast in the morning. And Astro API, this is for horoscope that user can get. And the last but not least, this is our favorite, Data Jokes API. So a user can receive a funny data joke every day in the morning. That's a great way to start your day. And that's it from me. And now Izan will talk about some of the struggles we faced.
Thank you, Shintaro. We had struggles with deploying on Heroku. Yes, additional to struggling with connecting front-end to back-end, we also had to set up endpoint URLs, redirect URLs, and callback URLs, so the user will be redirected to the correct URL. We also had a hard time with actually passing the data into the endpoint. So such information as user information, so we know who to send to the messages. One of the ongoing challenges we have is to implement a scheduler to send messages to users at a particular time of the day. So get ready for future releases. So, and the last minute struggle, that was that we hit the limit of access to the line. So, but our team approached this problem in a calm and very unified and effective way. So even in such panicking time. So good job, guys. Yay. So these were our struggles, but we learned from them a lot. Yay. So I'm going to pass it to Koki. He will introduce future features. Koki?
Okay, thank you, Aizan. So now I'm going to talk about some possible features that we can add in the future so that will make our app amazing. So first of all, if the user can schedule what time they want to receive the information, currently our app is capable of sending back the message immediately after the user clicks. But what if the user wants like particular information in specific time of a day? Maybe the user wants weather information in the morning. Like if the user could set time, that will increase the user experience for our app. Secondly, if the user could choose more informations from our app Sky Rah, that will make it amazing. Obviously, there's already useful information on our app, but what if some user wants to know about like sports or finance? Well, we are more than happy to add those new features in the future. And lastly, if the user could choose where they want their information to be sent to, maybe like messengers like Slack, Facebook, or WhatsApp, that will make it useful in terms of both private and business needs. So I would like to say Team Sky Rah is very, very proud and passionate about this app. And I would like to thank Rakuten again for using their APIs to create this interesting project. And also we had a great experience to use both the Rakuten API and the Line's official API and made it compatible with each other. So if you're interested in your app, or maybe if you have some feedbacks for our app, feel free to contact us. We are more than happy to answer to your needs to make this app amazing. So in this slide, we have posted this QR code for a web app. So feel free to scan this code now using your phone. I'll ensure you that you enjoy it. And again, like amazing job, Team Sky Rah, for making this app from scratch in 3 days. And thank you for listening, guys.
Okay, wonderful job, Team Sky Rah. I know that having dad jokes is the way that I like to start off my day, so really, really good job. Okay, so thank you very much. So our next team wants to know if you are tired of being stuck inside with nothing to do in these hard COVID times. Also, they want to know, do you love games? So our next team is called Borbs Associated, and they have the perfect app for you. So turning it over to you, Borbs Associated.
Hello. Yes, we here at Borbs Associated would like to present to you GG Weather. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, GG stands for good game. But first, let's do a short introduction. So, who are the members of Borbs Associated? Well, I'll start. Hi, my name is Julia. Nice to meet you.
And my name is Carlos. Nice to meet you.
Hello everyone, I'm Phương. And Marco.
All right, now let's get into the app and what it's about. Get game suggestions based on your weather. You just have to put in your location, receive information on the weather, get a list of your recommended games based on that weather, and then save those games to a database so that you can play them later. And now I'm going to pass it on to Carlos for a short demo.
Thank you, Julia. I'm very happy and excited to show you what we have been working for the last couple days. So this is what our app greets you with. Like, this is the main page of it. It is live, so we'll be sharing the link so you can play with it in a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to start by checking what the weather is like in Tokyo. It could be any city around the world. And once you have done that, the city is displayed for you, confirming that the search is successful. The weather is cloudy. The temperature is 16 degrees Celsius or 61 Fahrenheit, because we know people from the United States will be using it. And on the background, a algorithm that we designed that is matching essentially every possible weather that you can get from this weather API is matched to every possible genre of video game out there. So we hope you like the suggestions. We don't know exactly what will come up every time, but if you see something that fancies your interest here, for instance, I think this is a very famous game. The game is called The Last of Us. So we go into this more detailed view of a particular game that you might be interested in. You can see a couple images. You can see the rating that it has been given. You can see the platform it was released on, the year it has been released on, publisher, website, Metacritic rating, and also a description of the game. Now let's say that you might want to play this game, and so you don't want to forget about it. So you can save it in your database, and it says game successfully saved. And then you can see in your list of games, I have a few games that I had added before, so I can confirm that The Last of Us is there. But then I'm thinking, oh, you know what? Actually, I won't have time to play Final Fantasy Remake, for instance. So you can go ahead and delete that game. Game deleted successfully. And then I can confirm that that game is actually not on the list anymore. So that's essentially the main gist of it. I'm just gonna look for, say, my hometown back in Mexico. Let's want to have a quick look. It's a clear day in Monterrey, Mexico. Temperature is 21 degrees, 70 Fahrenheit. And it just takes a little bit in the back to load all the images, is comparing all the games that it might be ready to suggest to you. And once again, we're presented with a few different ones, like Spider-Man, so we can have a look at it if you want. Minecraft, that's a good one as well. So I don't know, Star Wars tonight might be actually quite a good choice. And once again, we can go into more details of this game and so on and so forth. So that's essentially the functionality that we were able to get in the last couple of days. We have many ideas that we'd like to bring to life in the future. And for now, that's all from me. I'm just going to pass the microphone to Fung. She's going to tell us more about the technology. But before that, let me just quickly tell you why we came up with this idea. So the four of us, we like games. And we were thinking about, right now with the COVID, it's important that we stay home, and then sometimes we have this free time in our hands, and we want to know how to use it properly or ideally. And there's a perfect weather for to reading the perfect book or the perfect movie. And we thought, well, let's do that, but with video games, because video games can be classified pretty much in the same categories as books and movies. So that's our idea. I hope you liked it. And now, for real, Fung, please take the microphone and tell us more about our technology that we used.
Thank you, Carlos. All right, awesome. So now you might wonder what technologies allowed us to be able to create such a fun app. So starting from database, so we use Firebase, which is really simple and dynamic. It can be hooked directly to React for front end, and together with APIs that we use as well. So together, we can make a serverless app that really dynamic, and you can streamline all the configs of the backend server. For API specifically, so we utilize two APIs from Rakuten RapidAPI. The first one is Open Weather. That's the one that allowed us to be able to connect this input about the city to all the information of the weather. And then the second one is something called RawG Video Games API. It's awesome. They all have all sort of information about video games out there, and it's free as well. So if you ever consider doing something with the video games, we highly recommend that. So for in order to make it beautiful, we use Bootstrap, to have all the kind of like console-ish vibe of the app, and we host it on AWS, so it's live right now. So the next part will be the future features that we will be developing for this app, and my teammate Marco will be talking about it.
Thank you, Hun. I will talk about what features we are planning to add. First is we will add the function to find movies, books, and music which match with your location. Second is user will be able to get information where you can buy the products which are recommended by our app. Third is we will add a function to share social medias. Users can share games they find by using our app. Our app will be implemented. Enjoy it. Next section is what we struggle with. First is we spend time to find which API is the best for our app because there are so many APIs. Second is getting data from API and displaying it on the page. We had to make sure that we got all images data from API before display it on the page. It was really hard part, but finally we succeeded to display it. Third is rendering images quickly. It took us time to display images after users click button. This is a point we can improve our app. Now I will pass it back to Fung.
Thank you, Marco. So that's about the app pretty much. If you're at home right now, probably you are anywhere in the world, you can just, 2 seconds, scan the app, you have the app right away, and you can just input your city where you're in. And then we have a bunch of interesting and fun games recommended to you, and check it out and let us know what you think. If you do really download the app and find some game, let us know. We have all the information of our team members, and let us know what you think about the app. Thank you so much for listening.
Okay, so thank you so much, Team GG Weather. I think that's a really, really useful app, and I know what most of us are probably going to be doing with our weekend plans. But yeah, we need something else to do while we're stuck inside this weekend with the rainy weather and the quarantine situation. And so our next team invites you to cozy up with their app. So let me introduce Kanpai Cocktails.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hallie, and I'm going to be starting off our presentation for our app called Kanpai Cocktails. So let's cozy up. First, a team introduction. As I've already said, I am Hallie. We also had Jeff on our team, Garrett, and Tam. And now I'm going to send it over to Garrett so he can introduce you to what Kanpai Cocktails is.
Okay, so imagine this scenario. It's a dark and stormy night, and COVID-19 is all around you. You have nowhere to go, and you are home alone. You're stuck at home, so you decide to just curl up on the sofa and relax with a nice drink. But what should you drink? This is a very big decision that can shape the rest of your night. So this app that we created can help you answer this burning question that we all have had at some point in our lives. So next, my teammate Tam will explain exactly how this app can help you. So please take it away, Tam.
Thank you, Garrett. And what is that burning question we all want answered before the night starts? It's what am I going to be drinking tonight? So this app is a cocktail and alcoholic drink recommendation app. If you find yourself unsure of what you would like to drink, our app can choose a random alcoholic drink just for you. Or if you find yourself with a few ingredients at home and you're wondering what you can make with, let's say, vodka, just type in vodka in a search bar and it'll show you a list of results that you can choose from. Without further ado, I'll give the stage back to Hallie so she can showcase our app for you.
Thank you, Tam. And now what everyone's been waiting for, let's check out Kanpai Cocktails. So here is our web app. You first get to the home page and you see our header with Kanpai cocktails, a really fun animated clock, which interestingly enough, never changes the minute or the hour hand. And that's because it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, which means it's time to settle down and make yourself a really fun drink. So our first feature is searching by random drinks. So you can click this random button and it'll give you a drink. Now here we have a Godfather drink. Let's click on this picture. We can see this really nice cocktail here. We get some information about the cocktail and some of the ingredients. So you are able to click on the ingredients listed. And by clicking on the ingredient, Scotch right here, that'll take you to the Rakuten marketplace and give you pricing for different types of Scotch that are available right now on Rakuten Marketplace. Going back to our app, we'll close this window. And now let's search for a drink based on ingredients. So let's search by vodka, like Tam suggested earlier. So we type that in, hit search, and a lot of different and really beautiful and fun looking cocktails pop up. I'm gonna click on this 155 Belmont. I'm curious about that. Again, more information, the type of drink, the ingredients listed, some instructions on how to make it. And if those instructions are not clear enough and you're more of a visual learner, you can actually click this link here and it's going to take you to YouTube. And that will be a YouTube video with cocktail instructions on how to make the cocktail that you've decided to make. So let's close this. And now we're going to hand it over to Jeff and he'll talk about the technology we use to make this app.
All right. So yeah, the technologies we used to make our app, we used React mostly in the front end, of course, and we used JavaScript as well. We hosted the app onto Firebase, and we used Anime.js for the beautiful clock animation. And of course, we also used Rakuten RapidAPI. So the APIs that we did choose from there is the Cocktail Database API. That's the main API we focused on. Also, we used the YouTube Search API to allow us to link a video if you need more information on how to make the cocktail. And we do have some ideas as well for what we want to do in the future with our app. So if possible, we'd like to someday implement seasonal drink recommendations. For example, if it's winter, maybe you'd like a nice warm cocktail or a summery drink when it's a hot day. Also, we'd like to sometime implement a clock and map that shows exactly where in the world it is 5 o'clock, just so you don't have to feel bad about those daytime cocktails. If we could, I'd like to have users be able to save their favorite drinks, as well as any drinks they want to try in the future. And last, but maybe most importantly, we'd like to have a system that allows you to find local bars in your area, so you can try some great cocktails near you. And also you can use this to kind of come up with ideas of what to drink if you're a little bit stuck on what to order at a bar. So I'm going to pass things back to Hallie to finish up for us here.
Thank you, Jeff. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you listening today. We had a really fun time making this app. If you want to try it out, it is working and it is live. So you can scan this big QR code in the center of your screen there and check it out. So thank you again for listening and we hope you have a great night.
Okay, thank you, Team Kanpai Cocktails. It is Friday night, everyone, so please do download their app and start using it right away. Yeah, and enjoy yourself a cocktail adventure. So you may have noticed a theme in our presentations tonight. All of the students independently sort of tried to think about what apps would be useful to people these days in this sort of era and time that we're all facing. And the next team is no exception. So next I'm going to introduce Team Rapid Potato, and they created an app called that is a one-stop dashboard to get up-to-date info about your location. So without further ado, let's turn it over to Team Rapid Potato.
All right. Hello, guys. And thank you so much for tuning in with us. We are Rapid Potato, and we are super excited to have you here today. Now, I hope you're all having a lovely day. If you haven't started your day, I can guarantee you're going to have a good day because we have an awesome gift for you. So, without further ado, before we begin, I'd like to introduce our team, Rapid Potato. We're a team of 5 engineers. I, myself, Riku, nice to meet you. I am the tech lead. We have Polly and Chip on the front end, and Yuya and Zoe on the back end. And we make Rapid Potato. All right, and going on to this new gift, right? Now, the gift we have for you today is the launch of our new product. And not only is it a new product, it is our first app. So you're about to experience the launch of our first app that we like to call Hello Japan. And it is a one-stop dashboard where you can find all up-to-date information that you need all in one place. No more, no less. Simplicity. And now I'm going to pass it on to Yuya, who will be talking to you more about Hello Japan. All right, Yuya, take it away, please.
All right, thank you, Riku. And hi, I'm Yuya. And imagine this. Let's say on the weekend, you wake up in the morning, have nothing to do special for the day, and you want to start planning your day in order to do something really fun. However, the thing is, you have to get all the information you need from everywhere. For example, you might want to check the website in order to get the information of specific place weather, or you might want to go to your social media to check fancy restaurant information. And especially for now, you might want to check the coronavirus information before you go outside. So we come up with one idea. And isn't it cool if all the information you need are stored in one place, and by simply selecting the tab, you can get all the information that you need easily and quickly. So that's how we come up with the idea of Hello Japan, and we would like to demo that for you. So I'm going to hand it over to Riku again.
All right, back to me, and we are going to go right into the demo. And I am about to release this first. You guys are about to see this. Ta-da! And you find yourself firstly in a super clean front. Lovely styling. Shout out to Polly, who made this possible. Now let's see what we can do here. We are greeted by a weather tab. We have Tokyo weather report because we are located in Tokyo, but I have a friend over in Okinawa. So let's zoom in on Okinawa. Yes, Okinawa. And if I click on it, there we go. I can check out what my friend is doing over in Naha. Ooh, 24 degrees, very nice. And I can even check the health status of Japan, which is the coronavirus data of the country. You can also have a restaurant of the day. Fisherman's Club in Naha is closed. Let's see what we have in Osaka. We have Yakiniku Rikimaru and open right now. If you're in Osaka, you should go up for it. And of course, what better way to start your day than having a lovely quote, right? And of course, we have the events tab, which is a future feature, which Polly will discuss later on in the presentation. Awesome, right? You might be thinking, how is this even possible? That's why Chip is going to explain to you about what is under our tech. So Chip, will you please?
Yes, it'll be my pleasure. So what technologies did we use to make this application possible? Well, our front end was based on Vue, and we used Vuex to manage all the different information coming in, the quotes and the weather and the restaurants. To deploy it, we relied on Heroku, which worked wonderfully, as you saw. And then the APIs, we relied on Rakuten RapidAPI, and it was a wonderful experience using those. We can see on the next slide that we used WeatherBit to get the weather information. We got our COVID-19 information from the COVID-19 Data API, and the restaurant information came from TripAdvisor. And finally, we used the Quotes API to gather the daily quote. So now I'll hand it over to Polly to talk about some of the future developments.
Thanks, Chip. Okay, so we've only just launched version 1.0, but we're really excited to keep improving our product. So here's a look at what we've got in store for Hello Japan 2.0. The first thing on our list is that we'll be implementing a feature so that you can see a list of events that are going on in your city. You'll be able to browse your events across different dates. And of course, you can check out other cities if you're looking to plan your holiday, or maybe you're just visiting your friends elsewhere. So you'll be able to get a list of all the events that you can visit, that you can go to. And another thing is that we really want to make your Hello Japan experience unique to you. So we will also be implementing a personalized feed section. So users will be able to specify which topics they're interested in, for example, sports, fashion, finance, whatever. And then you'll be able to see a personalized feed of all the news and stories related to the topics that you're interested in. And lastly, we'd love to hear from you guys, our users, about which features you'd like to see in your personalized dashboard. We're always looking for feedback, so feel free to reach out to us on Twitter, on GitHub, wherever you like, and we will implement your views into the next version of the app. Next up, I'll be handing it off to Zoe, and she'll talk us through some of the challenges that we faced.
Thank you, Polly. In this project, we had so many challenges, but I would like to summarize into 3. The biggest one, I think, would be time management. Since we only have 3.5 days working on it, in the beginning, we had so many ideas about display all kinds of information to our users. However, after we started to implement several tasks, we felt the time is very limited. Eventually, we decided to drop some ideas. The second challenge, which would be Vue.x framework, none of us were familiar with this before. However, it is a powerful tool to manage state in Vue. So we quickly learned how to use Vue.x by reading documentations and tutorials. And within half an hour, we have already implemented the Vue.x in our code, especially handling the async functions. A third challenge, I would say, is team communication. We realized that in the early stage, to discuss what kind of data that all members agree on is very important. We faced some difficulties that later on, when we put all the things together and merged the code, there were bugs simply caused by we structure our data differently. We learned so much and had so much fun during these challenges. Next, I'm going to pass on to our team lead, Riku, to show you our app URL.
All right, thank you, Zoe, and thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys had an awesome time with us. And of course, as Zoe said, we're going to release this app for you. You can scan the QR code. It is available on mobile too. So go ahead and scan that QR code. Check it out. And of course, last but not least, shout out to Rakuten RapidAPI who made this possible. If you're a developer and haven't tried that, you have to go and try that out. You can get $1 million discount code right here at Rakuten/Rapid. I'm joking. Thank you so much for tuning in with us, and hope to catch you in our next one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Team Rapid Potato. That was incredible. And actually, Riku, you may have been joking, but some of you know as participants that we do actually provide free Rapid API credits. So, if you'll just share your details with us, or perhaps you may already have them through the Zoom registration, let us know if you're interested in getting some of those credits, and we will connect you with the team at Rapid API to make that happen for you. So please do try it out. Yeah, so wow, every time that we come to the end of this, it's quite an emotional time for us. And I think this time in particular for us, it's always incredible to see how far the students can come in just 7 weeks. And this is their first, of course, public presentation, and just really good. And especially these days, this class started off under really difficult circumstances with the spike in COVID cases and our very, very quick transition to remote. And so couldn't be prouder of them for the resilience and flexibility that they've shown and still come out with these just incredible products. So yes, good job, everyone. And finally, I'd like to say that next week on May 30th, Saturday, we are going to have another event with some of the students of this cohort and from their senpais over in CC11. And that is Big Mini Conf. So if you're interested in seeing some of the tech talks that this class has produced, please sign up on Meetup. It will be streamed online as usual. So yes, please join us in congratulating them on the accomplishment that they've made. They have done that on top of everything else they've been doing in this class. So really, really excited, really wonderful job. So students, if you could all turn your videos on and we can give a really big goodbye wave to the audience before we wrap up for the evening. Okay. All right. Everyone, very good job. Big hand for you again. You can hear the virtual audience clapping. Okay, and I will see you all later. Have a wonderful weekend and good night, everyone.